Greetings and salutations, malefactors and YouTubers. We're doing a little more of the restoration part of this series. But you know, I actually got some good advice, and I think I'm going to take it to heart. Instead of focusing on me wrenching on this thing and you guys having to sit there watching me take a few weeks to get this thing back together, we're going to focus on some highlights of the pitfalls of buying a used motorcycle. Now, during the disassembly, I touched on the missing air filter, I touched on, you know, mismatched fasteners and all that. I literally have almost a trash bag of fasteners in my storage room right now for this bike. But there are a few things that you'll find on a used bike. Generally, that will be a bit of a headache to deal with. So today's big project is my inner tube. A lot of times when you buy a used bike, you have a tire on there that has been around since the times of Methuselah. Now you notice there's a significant dry rotting. This tire has a consistency of, well, pretty much like a brick. So tires like this are extraordinarily hard to get off. I've been having this sit in the sun on the back of my truck probably for about 3-4 hours now, hoping I could make my life a little easier getting this off. Now, a couple of things you might note whenever you start working on a tire this old. I mean, it's a significant amount of force to get this thing to even flex on the bead. Sometimes you might run into the deal that you actually can't get the tire off. So on my RM125 project, and I wish I would have recorded this, the tires were so dry rotted onto there, I actually had to take a set of bolt cutters and cut the steel belt at the bead and then sawzall the tires off to get them off. Not entirely sure if that's going to be as far as I have to take this one, but if I have to, I will. And I already see some other stuff I'm going to want to work on in the future, like replacing all these bolts and fasteners. So today's other big deal is after I get the new tire on, I'm going to take the freshly rebuilt suspension, courtesy Keps and Leander, which so far it looks like everything came out pretty nominal, except for there's a little bit of weep from excess fluid, I'm guessing, from the change. I don't see any sort of leakage from the shock itself. The forks are 100% there, but basically fix the tire, get the front wheel on, get this back to where it's rolling out, and then hopefully work on getting this back wheel and tire off. Now, I say previous owner actually received this bike in a trade, so it would be the previous owner where we've generated most of these issues. And it looks like we're lucky in the respect that at least our bolts and such on the sprockets are in good shape. Before changing sprockets or anything like this, I suggest you order a full set of bolts, full set of nuts. Same with changing out your disc brakes, everything, because these bolts actually strip relatively easily. I mean, a few of these are already starting to show the signs of being rounded off. So, I'll have those on order. The other thing I discovered while I was tinkering around with this bike is, I'll have to take you off for a second, we have a substantial puddle of oil underneath it. And my blood started to run a little bit cold. And no, I didn't find this bike in a centerfold, but turns out right around the case where you have the clutch side, we got a bit of open weep there. So I've put new gaskets on order for that, hoping that I don't have any sort of nicking or tearing in the case. But it's just kind of par for the course when you're working on an older bike like this. So when I get to the part after I have the wheels and everything back together, we're going to peel this clutch cover off, we're going to take off this entire case, inspect all the components, check all the gears, and see if we have a notched and damaged clutch hub and everything, which I'm full on expecting that. But also we're going to see if we can address this oil leak, and it's free dripping right now. Well, thanks for sticking around. If this tire change gets messy enough to require the sawzall and a set of bolt cutters, I'll definitely cut that back in on the video so you guys get to enjoy that sort of self-inflicted misery. But I figure we'll do a new twist on a bike restoration. I'm gonna walk you through all of the worst aspects of it that you might end up dealing with. Now, this isn't going to be particularly as helpful to folks that are going to already come in here doing a full strip of the bike all the way down to the cases and replacing everything. If you're cracking center cases and everything, this stuff is beyond you. This group of videos is more so for the hobbyist used bike buyer. But thanks for tuning in. Have a good one. Well, it turns out this is, while it's been a bit of a struggle, it hasn't been that bad to get off. So, working on peeling this thing the rest of the way off. I've actually only been working on it for about 15 minutes or so. But I got to an interesting point I figured I would share. So when you have one of these super dry rotted tires and you start working on peeling it completely the rest of the way off the rim, make sure you have plenty of soapy water handy. The first about 5 or 6 bites are super tough. After the first few bites though, it's actually not bad. I'm almost at the point I could just, yeah, peel the rest of it out by hand. Let's see, do we have any major corrosion, any damage? That's other things that you look for on a used bike. Heck, even the rim lock's in decent shape. Let's use the cleaning. Looks like we got some heat damage on the tube. These things say not for highway use, but you can tell by how it's worn someone's ridden it on the road a good bit because of the scalloping on it. You don't normally get that in dirt riding. Oh boy, look at that. That is some dry rot. Oh man, it seems like trying to bend a piece of a wagon wheel or a piece of wood. Well, let's chuck this garbage in the garbage. I gotta take it out to get recycled. Actually, now I think about it, local trash company will have a fit if I start tossing it into the trash. So we're trying something a little bit new today. This is the Tusk Recon Hybrid, like semi-gummy tire or whatnot. So this has been out for about a year or so. It's not dot rated. These are supposedly a softer compound for rock riding and all sorts of other stuff. Not been a whole lot of reviews on these things yet, so I figured, you know, I might as well guinea pig myself. It's more fun that way than getting something tried and tested. And you know, I always run the Case 760s, and I'm kind of in the mood for something different, especially since dual sporting this bike's about a year off. Thought to myself when I was using it, like, why the heck did they even release these things? Oh, come on. We're so close. At this point you might be able to just press it on, but that's unlikely. Alright. Come on, buddy. You can do it. You can pull through. There's enough soap on you. Oh, we're so close. I can taste it. It tastes like rubber. Woo! Watch your face. Oh, dang. Yeah. Come on, feller. You know you want to go on for me. Maybe there is something conventional to that conventional wisdom of you should put it on at the rim lock first. I guess conventional wisdom's conventional for a reason. What is it? The glass spoon is the hardest. I'm gonna do something I don't usually recommend doing. Not yet. I haven't gotten to that part yet. We're nowhere near desperate yet. Oh, look at that bead breaker. And now you know why I like this tool. Oh, we are so close to having this done. Come on, buddy. Now you're like, hey, man, that bead breaker idea, that's not a bad tool. Look at that. That's not that tool's intended purpose. I'll tell you that. But whatever works, works. Alrighty. Now we're gonna see this thing blows up in my face. I guess I better grab another battery for the Ryobi. No. Nah. I don't have 2 hours to wait on this. There's a bit of a dent in that rim. I wouldn't put there by me. Not a huge dent. That's kind of par for the course. Now you can choose to soap it up again if you like. Not necessary. Sometimes a good idea if you're dealing with stiff tires. So what am I looking for when I'm beating? Notice this thing is slowly forcing its way to the outside. You want to see this line consistent all the way around and on both sides. And we're not quite beaded yet. So here we have this area where it's not quite there. Oh goodness. Come on. Normally it'd take about 50 pounds to beat a tire. You get on that side, and we are we're beaded. On tubeless tires, you'll hear a thunk. Sound like old Tupperware. Now you'll see a little bit of air coming out around here. That's normal. You're forcing all the spare air out of the rim. Alright, we're at 45 PSI right now. My advice is set it to like 30 or so. If you have any leaks, so pinch leaks or anything like that, they'll show up quicker. Tossing it at race pressure, yeah, 30 pounds. So basically I'm just gonna let this thing sit here and think about what it's done for a couple of hours while I work on other stuff. And if it doesn't drop that time, I figure it'll be good to put right back on the back of my truck and start peeling it back off again. Probably not videotaping that part because of the profuse amount of profanity that'll be uttered during it. And yes, I keep ballast stem tools always on my Africa Twin. Changing a tire and feeling things is an absolute pain, but sometimes it's a necessity. Well, that was entertaining. See you folks next time.